Education. Education is a thing that lifts women from poverty. And poverty gives you vulnerability, and we don't want that anymore, because vulnerability leads to things that are not nice and things that stop you reaching your potential. So we hope to offer scholarships and teacher training in the President's Appeal. We want to provide leadership, because women can be agents of change and show leadership, and in Nepal, now is the time. We can provide economic empowerment and lift them from poverty. As was mentioned this morning, one of the things about vulnerability is the vulnerability to human traffickers. And the United Nations say that this was before the earthquake, that 15,000 women and girls per year were trafficked into the sex industry from Nepal. We want to reverse that. We want to change that. So between 2011 and 2021, we agreed that we would focus on education and leadership. So we're bringing that together for Nepal. We want to fund things like schools and scholarships, skills training. We will have different projects that will meet our goals to increase education and increase resources. And I invite you to climb with me to the top of Mount Everest, reach for the stars, reach for the highest, and make a difference. The President's Appeal, the spirit of it is about dealing with the most vulnerable. And at the moment, the most vulnerable we have are women and girls in Nepal. There's also a benefit for us. We will be able to bring our 4 federations together, and we will raise our profile. We will make a difference, and our impact will resonate around the world. It will attract like-minded women to join us. Now, you always need to have a budget. And so you set a goal, and we've set the goal of a coffee and cake per person, per Soroptimist, and that will bring us in 500,000 American dollars, or 320,000 British pounds. And that amounts to 1 coffee and 1 cake per Soroptimist. Now, I do have a problem with this. I don't like coffee. And not only that, I shouldn't really eat too much more cake. So I decided I would do something a little different. And I have knitted some flowers, and Kate Moore has sold them here, and I'm selling them, or she sold them. And so far I have made over £600 selling in profit and selling these little brooches. So no matter how humble your gift is, you can do something to make a difference to women and girls in the world, and especially in Nepal. And that's why I'm making these little brooches to sell. The last one is about taking time, after we've validated and celebrated, this is the time to bring it together, in a celebration. Take time to celebrate. And I have written a President's message about how I know that I am valued. And there are 5 ways, five petals to the flower. You can affirm people. You can reach out and touch. It could be a handshake. It could be a high five. But you can do it. You can give gifts, and you can give quality time. You could give acts of service. My husband is an acts of service person. He has taken over the domestics at home, to the point that when I offered to do the dishes, he said, no, he will do the dishes. I could go and save the world. That's cool, isn't it? So it all comes together under mana for me. It comes together to be inclusive. And that's what this cloak is about. This cloak is not about me. This cloak is about reaching out and giving people the message and helping them become part of a community, to grow and to be safe. This cloak was made by a group of Maori weavers after we had a disaster in New Zealand. Small town New Zealand is considered to be safe. And we had the instance where a young man was shot dead by police. And it really resonated around my country. You know, that sort of thing doesn't happen with us. And we had to really think about where we were in the world and how safe we were and how we were looking after each other. And in Waitara, the women felt that they were not being heard. And a small club of SI Waitara had a hui, which is a special meeting, closed to men and closed to the media. So they brought the women together to talk about how this had impacted on them. And it was supposed to go for an hour and a half. Well, when midnight came, they finally closed the doors and sent them home. But it gave the women a voice, and it started the healing in the town. And as a result of that, the Waitara weavers offered to make us a cloak for Soroptimist International of New Zealand. And it's a cloak that means many things on many levels. It started off as in a simple pattern, and it was going to have a few feathers around the sides. Well, it grew, like many Soroptimist projects. And now it's got 8,000 feathers. Each one is stitched in 8 times, and it took 3 years to make. It's got feathers from paradise duck, from weka and pukeko. Pukeko and weka are blue and gold, so our Soroptimist colours. It has special feathers around the outside representing the Pacific Rim, and it has 2 panels down the back. These panels are not straight. And the reason they are not straight is they reflect our imperfections, our humanity, and how we need to strive and to embrace the things that make us unique, but also to be okay that we're not perfect human beings. And I think it's the most beautiful part of the cloak, are the panels down the back. The crossover here are the trials and tribulations that we carry with us. And you can see that the trials and tribulations that we carry also hold the cloak together. And you can also see that it's made of flax, and so therefore, when it was first worn, it was very prickly because it was rough. And now that it's been worn a lot, it's softer. And so therefore, if you step out of your comfort zone and take on something new, the more you do it, the easier it is to wear. So if you're thinking about stepping up to being president of your club, yes, there might be a few bumpy moments as you get used to wearing the cloak, but it will be easier as you go on and you'll grow as a person. The other thing about the cloak is that it has a name, and that is one of the most precious things about us. Our name is, we're very protective of that. And the name of this means the bearer of well-being to the world. And it's not about the person who's carrying it or wearing it, it's about the message. And so that we as Soroptimists, it's not about us, it's about what we do and how we impact on other people and how we bring them in as members and how we bring our program of service to those who need it. It takes up quite a bit of space in my suitcase. So I have learnt that I need to prioritise what I take when I go away. And I also had another very humbling experience with it. As I said, I tend to get a bit excited, and I was at the launch of UN Women at the United Nations a few years ago, and I took Te Amo, we're on first name terms, to there, and I was going to be in the General Assembly Hall. See, many years ago, my mother told me I could be Secretary General to the United Nations, and my father said I could be a secretary. So I was following Mum, because she had a much better deal, and she believed in education, so I was very excited that I could be in the General Assembly Hall at the United Nations, wearing Te Amo, get a photograph taken, take it back to Mum, and everybody would be happy. And that's where we were going to be. And then what happened was that some politicians also decided that they would be there, and some of us were going to be sidelined into the next room. I was a bit downcast, and I was thinking about it, maybe I shouldn't wear Te Amo if it's a sidelined event. Well, at the time, the International Program Director was Dawn Marie Lemons. You may have known her from Americas. Wonderful woman. She was really excited about being at the United Nations for the launch of UN Women. They took on our tickets, and I got a ticket back. And I said, this is the wrong ticket. And she had swapped her ticket with mine. She had every right to be in the General Assembly Hall at the launch of one of the biggest events for women in decades, and she gave it to me. That, I think, is about inclusion. That's about mana. I felt so humble, and I felt that I had to step up because I had been given such a precious gift. Not that I was there, but that somebody had made that sacrifice so I could be there. So taking 5, I think that we can look forward with mana through gifts to our centennial in 2021, when we celebrate the difference we have made and launch the difference we will make. We will learn that we can lead ourselves, we can lead others, and we can lead the organisation, and we can increase our membership. So I invite you to take 5 and come alive. Nō reira, tēnā koutou, tēnā